Okay, we are live. So thank you so much again for everyone joining this hackathon presentation, regardless of wherever you are in the world. For me, GM, but for others, GN, GA, whatever GN may. Yeah, I already said that. Thank you everyone for joining. This is going to be the first of, I believe, 6 workshops for the Sui Liquid Staking Hackathon that is going on right now. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. But before we do, some stats to celebrate. Recently, Sui hit 3 million active accounts, and since the blockchain's genesis. An active account is an account that is defined. An active account is one that is defined as one that has signed a transaction. So we have 3 million accounts that have signed at least one transaction since the beginning of Sui's genesis, and this took little less than 4 months to accomplish. Sui, oh no, I don't think the slides are animated, but oh well. It's supposed to be a number that goes to 1 billion. But anyways, Sui also recently hit 1 billion transactions. And Sui also recently, as of August 20th, reached a new milestone with over 600,000 daily active accounts, which is the highest for any epoch to date. So without further ado, let's jump right into the Liquid Staking Hackathon. So for this hackathon, the total prize pool is 25 million Sui tokens in the form of staked tokens and $125,000 USD in Sui. And here's a brief overview of the hackathon. On July 27th, Sui framework code was upgraded to enable developers to build non-custodial liquid staking applications on Sui. This additional functionality in the protocol has created new opportunities for developers to innovate and build creative apps and financial products on Sui. Sui Foundation, we at the Sui Foundation are hosting this liquid staking hackathon to identify and reward developer teams that build non-custodial liquid staking functionality into their apps and products. So again, if you're looking at this, the biggest keyword that was repeated twice was non-custodial. With the addition of SIP6, I should say prior to the addition of SIP6, any liquid staking implementation was ultimately flawed and centralized, and we'll go over why in the later slide. So for the hackathon, this is what you need to know. There are going to be 3 main stages: registration, shortlist, and demo day. The format of the hackathon is going to be primarily online. You can participate in demo day online at the end of September with an in-person check-in at the Singapore Builder House on September 15th through 16th. And like I said earlier, the total prize pool is 25 million Sui in the form of staked tokens and $125 USD in Sui. And then here's the timeline is as following. So the registration period went on from August 16th to September 15th. So this is the time where you can actually build your product. From September 15th through 16th is the in-person check-in and additional workshops, presentations, etc. at the in-person Builder House, Sui Builder House in Singapore. From September 17th through 21st is the shortlisting period. So the shortlisting period essentially identifies all the eligible projects. 27th through 30th are the final round demos, and the results are going to be announced on October 2nd. And then to be eligible for the hackathon, either teams or individuals can submit a project. So you can work by yourself or in a group. The project must utilize some form of liquid staking primitive on Sui. The project team must participate in demo day according to the assigned schedule at the end of September. So once shortlisted, you'll receive a schedule from us. A member of the project must pass KYC to receive any prizes. The project must be deployed to Sui mainnet or testnet by demo day. The liquid staking design must be non-custodial. Because again, anyone could create a liquid staking protocol prior to SIP6, but that it would have been a custodial solution. It was a centralized solution. So the biggest thing here is to ensure that it is non-custodial. One second. If chosen to receive a prize, the project must go through smart contract auditing and deploy on Sui mainnet. So this is a big thing I want to talk about a little bit more. Other hackathons, I would say, other hackathons, even ones hosted by us, they were not, the stakes were not that big. From the very beginning, I said 25 million Sui is going to go towards protocols to help incentivize liquidity, to help you as a protocol bootstrap your project, right? Previous hackathons, the stakes were not this big. Previous hackathons, we said, okay, you can deploy the testnet, you can deploy the mainnet, whatever, but there was no such emphasis on creating an actual product that would get real users money. You could hack fun little dApps, but one of the biggest things that we're emphasizing here is that we really want these projects to become like businesses, right? We want these hackathon projects to become their own like protocols that can like sustain themselves, right? Which is why, and I believe we at the foundation will be able to help this as well with auditing the smart contract and eventually getting it deployed on Sui mainnet for people to actually use. So I would say this is different from a lot of hackathons in the past where you can just hack out some project and that'll be it. You don't need to touch it afterwards. Yeah, like I said, the goal of this is that we really want this to carry on into mainnet, into perpetuity, right? And the last thing is that the project must promote decentralization through preserving the ability to stake with any validator or algorithms that encourage beneficial staking behavior. So what does that mean? Essentially, your liquid staking protocol must be designed in such a way such that it is a net positive to Sui's economics, right? So hypothetical example, let's say you own a validator. And you also want to work on this liquid staking protocol. If in your liquid staking protocol, all the stake is routed to your validator, that's not too decentralized, right? The whole point of this is to encourage positive, decentralized behavior. So in your protocol, in the algorithm, it should also reflect that the stake is being routed towards many different validators geographically spread out with different amounts of stake, etc. Different amounts of ideally should be 100% uptime, but really different types of validators to ensure that no one validator becomes too powerful, right? So the project must promote this as well. And that's like one of the benefits of going through an audit is that an audit would be able to detail if the liquid staking protocol had this flaw or not. And then categories and prize pools. So there are two categories with one honorable mention. The first category is creating the actual liquid staking protocol. So this is, as it says below, non-custodial liquid staking layer 1 implementation. And this prize pool consists of the 25 million Sui, which will be divided equally among the top 3 teams. So this is the actual protocol that takes in Sui and returns the staked Sui with all like the magic routing algorithms happening underneath the hood. The second would be LST, liquid staking token, DeFi, and tooling. LST derivative-based products, LST DeFi, and other LST L2 products, or LST related tooling and infrastructure. So this is referring to anything, any dApp, any project that takes in that liquid stake token and uses it in some way, shape, or form, with the prizes being $50,000, $30,000, and $20,000 for first, second, and third place, respectively. So the best example I can come up with this is, let's say there's a bunch of dApps already deployed on Sui mainnet, right? We have borrowing lending protocols, we have DEXs, we have perps, so forth. let's say you want to incorporate this liquid staking token into your project. That would be an example. So if you're a DEX and you want to include some staked Sui token, that would be eligible under this category. And of course, infrastructure. So if you want to create some type of infrastructure that would make liquid staking easier for others, or something that makes it more decentralized in any way, that would also fall under this category. And then 3 honorable mentions: $25,000 split evenly between all shortlisted teams that do not place in the top 3 of either category. So essentially, if you're shortlisted for this hackathon, you're at least guaranteed a portion of $25,000. So I hope that is incentivizing enough for you guys to participate. And one of the biggest things that we've been drilling home here at Sui, and hopefully if you've been keeping up with us at a glance, is that you've heard of all our builder houses that we've been hosting. So this year in 2023, we started off our tour in Denver, leading with Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, Hong Kong, Seoul, South Korea, Kyoto, Japan, Paris, France, and we hope to end it with a bang next month in Singapore. So while the world of crypto heavily touts its chest on being anonymous or pseudonymous, I believe that these builder houses are a great opportunity to put an actual name and face to whatever NFT profile picture you're using on Twitter and Telegram, and to meet fellow builders in the ecosystem. So again, for this hackathon, we're providing an in-person check-in at the builder house, as well as additional workshops and presentations. But again, if you can't make it, fret not, for the presentations will be recorded, and as a hackathon participant, you are still more than welcome to participate. So some frequently asked questions. When does the hackathon start? It officially began on August 16th when the registration form opened, and you have until September 15th to submit your project for shortlisting consideration. So think September 15th is when you have to submit. Can existing projects on Sui participate? Yes. As the feature is to enable non-custodial liquid staking, as the feature to enable non-custodial liquid staking is fairly new on Sui, it was not previously possible, so all projects can participate. However, for existing projects on Sui, only their liquid staking features will be considered for judging to maintain a level playing field for new projects. So this is what I was talking about earlier. If you have a DEX or perp or whatever already live on Sui, we'll judge only the new liquid staking portion. I'm going to turn on the AC because it's kind of hot here. Cool. Are participants allowed to register as individuals or only as teams? So both individuals and teams are allowed. And then we'll also facilitate matchmakings to help individuals form teams if interested. And then probably the biggest question, you guys saw at the beginning, wow, 25 million Sui. So does a 25 million Sui prize pool mean that the protocol gets to keep those tokens forever? Fortunately, no. The Sui Foundation is going to deposit an equal amount of share of the 25 million staked tokens in each of the 3 liquid staking protocols winners, and then use the protocol's liquid staking token to further support Sui's DeFi ecosystem. This initial liquidity is to help seed the ecosystem, help initially incentivize liquidity and so forth. But at the end of the day, the Sui Foundation will remain the owner of the tokens. So with that preamble out of the way, let's jump right into some high-level concepts of staking, liquid staking on Sui, SIP6, everything. So what is staking? So the Sui network utilizes a delegated proof-of-stake consensus mechanism where you, the token holder, can choose to stake with any validator you want in order to help secure the network. So this is in contrast to being a vanilla proof-of-stake chain, or POS, as opposed to DPoS, where in a true POS chain, the staked assets must belong to the validator. Due to the both financially and technically demanding nature of being able to run your own validator, Sui opted in for the DPoS mechanism to allow the greatest number of people to secure the network with any given amount of Sui in hopes of reducing the barrier of entry. So instead of having to run your own validator, do all the magic underneath, do all the magic yourself, the biggest goal with delegated proof of stake is you can choose any validator you want, stake with them, and that's it. So if that's staking, what is liquid staking? So liquid staking, so usually when you stake your tokens, they're actually staked with the validator taken out of the economy. Essentially for the duration that they're being staked. So because of this, liquid staking was born. With liquid staking, you're able to deposit your Sui with a validator to secure the network. In exchange, you receive a staked Sui token that accrues your share of the validator rewards. So for example, in a hypothetical scenario, let's say you deposit 100 Sui and you get back 99 staked Sui, STSUI, staked Sui, right? You'd be able to instantly redeem the 99 staked Sui for 100 Sui minus any fees. As time progresses and the validators accrue rewards, your 99 staked Sui increase to receive value relative to Sui. So perhaps maybe in a month or two, if you wanted to redeem your 99 staked Sui, you'd receive in return 105 Sui, more than your principal. And again, it's important to keep in mind that this is only relative. The price of staked Sui is relative to the price of Sui. So you'll get more Sui in return, but this is independent of Sui's actual performance with other currencies such as the US dollar. So why liquid staking? Why are we doing this hackathon all of a sudden? Why are we pushing liquid staking so much? So prior to SIP6, again, like I said, you can see this code here. This is the actual code that was changed. So a lot was changed in SIP6, but probably one of the biggest pieces was that this staked Sui object now has the store capability. So now this staked Sui object can be permissionlessly stored with inside other projects, inside other protocols, allowing liquid staking to actually be born on Sui. But why do we need liquid staking? Why was this change so important? So the first one is transparency. So without the store ability on the staked Sui object, projects building on top of the native Sui staking mechanics required a centralized address to store the staked Sui objects. This would inherently limit the overall reach of these projects due to the high level of trust required for a user to feel comfortable in interacting with their product. In some cases, this could also lead to a loss of funds if the keys for the centralized account were lost or stolen. So in order to maintain truly trustless, transparent, and composable extensions of Sui staking, the staked Sui object requires a storability. This change moves the underlying and extrinsic trust in the project to the inherent safety and relevant move modules. And this trust can be only reassured with smart contracts going through many rounds of audits and tests to prove soundness. The next one is composability. In order to allow the use of staked Sui flows in programmable transactions, public non-entry variations of other functions such as request add stake multiple coins are required that directly return the staked Sui objects. So without these functions, the inclusivity of the Sui staking flows are limited within programmable transactions. And then lastly, expressiveness. By design, staked Sui is yield-bearing. Every epoch, an amount of Sui coin rewards is distributed to each validator staking pool to be later redeemed by unstaking a staked Sui position. A natural requirement for any protocol utilizing staked Sui is to determine the total value, which is the principal plus the reward accrued in the position. So currently, there exists a function to query the underlying principal value of a stake suite object, but not to query the accrued rewards or the state of the associated staking pool. So that's just a brief overview of SIP at a very high level. If you want to learn more, scan this QR code and you'll be taken to the actual SIP6 GitHub page. So what does this mean for you? So as a developer ready to seize the day and to start building on top of the best L1 in the game, what does this mean? So as stated earlier, this hackathon has two separate tracks. The first is for building a standard liquid staking protocol. As mentioned earlier, this must be a non-custodial solution, one that takes advantage of this newest SIP6 update. And the second track is for projects that wish to include LSTs, LST standing for liquid stake tokens, in their project. So if you're an existing project, for example, you will be scored only on this new addition to your project. And also to reiterate, a large amount of Sui is being put on the table for this project. Over 25 million just in Sui and 125,000 US in prizes. Unlike previous hackathons where you could hack something for a week or a few days and call it a day, we really want this hackathon to create future protocols, create future businesses. The whole goal, if this hackathon is successful, you saw at the beginning, there's 3 liquid staking prizes, right? Ideally, will be at least 1 or 2 new projects that arise from this hackathon, new businesses, right? Where you can actually have a sustaining. Oh yeah, Harry said no, this is not the hallucinogen LSD, it's LST. Yeah, we can actually have your own business come out from this. So yeah, I believe that at a very high level, that is what we want this hackathon to be. And I can give some time now to answer any questions. So if you are on YouTube, I believe you can type comments, and yeah, feel free to use this time. I'll give a few minutes for people to type their comments out, and I'll be sure to respond to any ones that I can. But yeah, thank you so much for attending today. I'll give it one more minute. If there are no questions, then we can wrap it up. Oh, Gary asked, what are my contact details? You can see my Twitter down here. That'll be the best place to initially reach me, and then we can work on other communication channels after that. And my DMs are open, so anyone can DM me. Nice. Gary says, you're planning to build LST protocol with yield maturities. Nice. Good luck. Shall We Move asked, is there any other content available on liquid staking that I can learn? So I would say liquid staking isn't new. Liquid staking exists on other L1s as well. I would say the best place. So two things. There are more workshops coming out of this that hope to teach you guys what to build, how to build, what to build it, right? But I would say another good place to learn about liquid staking is to look at existing liquid staking protocols. So one of the biggest liquid staking protocols is Lido on Ethereum. You can probably start there. Some other popular ones on Solana, for example, ones that I read and I think are super helpful. If you look up Marinade Finance, they're a liquid staking protocol on Solana. I think their docs are amazing. So I think that would be very helpful to check out just to see how some of the math works, how some of the code is implemented, because I believe they're open source as well. So I think, yeah, Lido for Ethereum and Marinade on Solana are two like good liquid staking solutions to like read up if you want to learn more. Any idea list? I would say like in terms of ideas, the first one, let me go back to this one, right? So in terms of ideas, I would say for the first category, it's pretty straightforward. It's a simple liquid staking protocol. You take in Sui, you return to the user stake Sui, and underneath the hood, you route this Sui to a bunch of validators to make sure it remains decentralized. For the second, I would say, yeah, the second is where you can have your creative juices flow more. The second is essentially the infrastructure level, other dApps that utilize this liquid staking token. So I could say for this category, this could be like being able to long or short stake Sui, being able to maybe do something like use stake Sui to buy cappies or Sui friends, right? So this is like where you'll use stake Sui for whatever different implementation that you want to work on. So yeah, currently I would say there is no ideas list, but again, I think like one of the biggest things that I'm happy about the Sui ecosystem with is that there are so many like ways for developers to chat. There are ways you like our Suinami Writers Telegram, Twitter forums. So I would say feel free to shoot an idea in there, and yeah, just have other people talk about it. So there will be many platforms that implement liquid staking. Yeah, we want this to be decentralized. So ideally, there should be a number of different protocols that implement this. So Gary then said, would the protocol and yield maturities cover option one and option two? I would say, yeah, it sounds like it's a little bit of both, but because you're building like the core protocol itself, it would primarily be judged under the first category. Irvin said, could it be a game that uses Liquid Sui? Yes, I think that would be awesome. Karan then said, then there will be a lot of platforms like HasSui, XSui, WSui. Then how can ecosystem projects use every stake Sui? Well, yeah, that's like up to you. Ideally, there shouldn't be too much difference in. I see the heart. So I see there should be like really very little to no difference in how like an ecosystem project uses the various staked Sui objects, the staked Sui coins. Yeah. Okay, cool. I think that's it. I'll give a couple more minutes for people to ask questions, but if this is it, then we can wrap it up. Thank you. Gary said, how can we cover both option one and two in the same idea? Well, I think like you said, so for example, Marinade Finance, what I was referring to on Solana, they're almost like a super dApp. So they have like this liquid staking protocol built into their website, their dApp, and they have like many ways where you can like stake that liquid stake Solana token to receive additional yield. That would be an example of a project or a protocol that is doing both option one and option two. They have like the base liquid staking mechanism, the base liquid staking protocol, and they have like the other dApps, like the other ways you can earn yield on top of the already staked token. Okay, I'll give it one more minute. And I think if there are no more questions, we can sign off. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you everyone so much again for coming. I hope this was informative. If you have any questions, you can find me on Twitter here. Send me DMs, send me a DM, and I'll get back to you ASAP. Oh, I think Gary said, would yield maturities not cover option 2? It would. Yeah, it would. That's like the additional ways you can use the stake Sui in like a project. So that'd be option 2. But yeah, thank you again so much. Hope to see you at the next workshop. And hopefully to see some of you guys in person at the actual Singapore Builder House next month. Thank you so much again. Goodbye.